It's time for the Onebar and Lupagus Show, bringing you anything and everything Minnesota Vikings.
Welcome to professional football.
All right, welcome back to the Onebar and Lupagus Show. The NFL Draft is officially 11 days away, and today we're gonna focus on that third round. We got two selections. Very exciting.
Yeah, 2 first-round picks, 2 third-round picks. What could be better? Day 2 is going to be a lot of fun this year. But before we get into round 3, let's talk a little bit of, I don't really call it news, but some Vikings tidbits that have been floating around there lately. First of all, I know you did a little video about this, but Denzel Mims said he loves the Vikings. He actually called Adam Thielen the GOAT, respects the way how he came kind of from nowhere to get to where he is now. Hearing this from Denzel Mims, does this bump him up in your rankings at all?
I don't know. I mean, I would not be upset with Mims in round 1. I mean, he's definitely not my number one guy I want. I mean, I love the fact that he loves the Vikings. He's calling Adam Thielen the GOAT. Like, is he talking all time here? It's quite the compliment. So yeah, anybody who loves the Vikings, I guess they get a little bit of boost. But I kind of want him anyways.
Well, I did too, but ask me that question.
Where's your man crush level for Denzel Mims right now?
Like a percent or 1 to 10?
1 to 10.
69, off the charts.
Wow, top of the charts. No, Mims is going to be good. I just think he's going to take a little while. So
I love that he said that. He answered the question truthfully, and clearly he loves the Vikings. So thank you, Denzel Mims. I love you, and I really hope we pick you at 22 or 25. All right. There's been a lot of rumors going around the Vikings might be interested in trading for Trent Williams. I don't want you to get in depth in this too much. I want you to answer this question. Do you want them to trade for Trent Williams, and what would you give up for him?
Oh man, I don't know. Compensation for a guy like that, he's been on a football for a year. I think he's still got some left in the tank, but second round pick, sure. Nothing more. Like not even a conditional 7th. That's it.
I'd maybe give up one of our thirds. I don't want to go any higher than that. Like you said, he's been on football for a year. I think he's over 30 years old. I get it, but yeah, if we were maybe, I don't know, I think on the cusp of competing for a Super Bowl championship, then maybe, but I still think we're not that close. So
yeah, and I just don't know how that would work financially to bring this guy in. And yeah, I think it's a pipe dream regardless. I think he's going to hold out again, and he's probably never going to play again, ever again.
He might not. All right, let's dive into this round 3. Let's take our trunks off and let's go skinny dipping.
Well, before we get into this year's round 3, let's take a quick peek at how the Vikings have done over the last, I'd like to say 5 years, but we love to trade our third-round picks. So I'm just going with our last 5 third-round picks. So last year, we got Alexander Madison. We did not have a third-round pick in 2018. Then we got Pat Elflein, and then we did not have a third-round pick in 2016. And then we got Danielle Hunter. And then in 2014, we double dipped in the third round. The name Scott Crichton and Jerick McKinnon. So those are your 5. How would you grade us for the last 5 third-round picks?
Well, it's weird because you got some extremes on one end and some extremes on the other. Scott Crichton was a major turd.
There's a couple of turds here.
Yeah, Danielle Hunter was a stallion. McKinnon was pretty damn good actually when we had him. Elflein was a turd. I'm gonna have to give it a B just because the good is so good, the bad is so bad. But I mean, Danielle Hunter in the third round, that's one of the biggest draft steals of the last 20 years. So to me, that alone makes it a B. How about you?
Yeah, first I'm going to take Hunter out of the mix, and I give it an F. Straight up. Turds all around, even Jerick McKinnon. And but you got to put Hunter back in the mix. So I'm giving it a B minus. Hunter alone brings this grade up 3 full draft grades. So give him a B minus.
Yeah, I mean, you got Alexander Madison's got plenty of potential still. I know it's still early for him to have a huge effect on the overall grade, but even Pat Elflein, I mean, his rookie year he was good, but I mean, it's been so bad since then that it makes you forget that good year he had.
We're in the vicinity of each other.
Yeah.
So let's talk this year. Like I said, we got 2 third rounders. That second third rounder is a comp pick, courtesy of Sheldon Richardson. So thank you for that. We got pick 89. We got pick 105. We're going to talk about some guys that will be on the Vikings radar. And really, regardless of where we go with our 2 firsts and our second, I think really still anybody's on the table because we need multiple players at multiple positions. So let's just see who you got on your list. Third round Vikings.
I don't even think it'd be shocking to see us take the same positions in round 3 that we took in round 1. So I'm glad you said that. Yeah. Well, first guy on my list is, I think everybody's familiar with this guy by now. The Vikings have shown interest in him. It's the small school stallion, offensive tackle Ben Barch from St. John's. He went to the Senior Bowl. He played with the big boys. He showed he belongs. He had a pretty damn good combine. Even got some publicity for his nasty, I guess you'd call it like a smoothie that he made to gain weight.
That's all he talked about was that damn smoothie.
Yeah, but I mean, he's not someone who's going to come in from day one and start. I think he probably needs some time, even if that's 8 games into the season or whatever. But I think eventually he could be your left tackle of the future, or your right if you move Brown to the left. The Vikings have not taken a tackle yet in round 3. I think Ben Barch is going to be one of their biggest targets heading into that round.
Yeah, I'd be all for Ben Barch, not just because he played in Minnesota, but he is good and he could play guard. He's got some options there. I'm gonna hop over to the defensive side of the ball. Another name that's been, when you look at mock drafts, he's been linked to the Vikings a handful of times. I'm going edge rusher from Tennessee, Darrell Taylor, 6'4", 259. I'm not gonna try to compare him to Danielle Hunter, but they're pretty much the exact same height, exact same weight. Both coming out of college. It's more about what they can be. Athletic freaks. He's got the ability. He just needs the smarts around the game. I think he had, last 3 years, 19.5 sacks. He can get to the quarterback. A lot of potential.
There is. This is a pure upside pick. I do like it. He's definitely on my list too. He does have a pretty big character flag in his past. He was suspended for a season for kicking his teammate in the face.
Hey, we don't know the story behind that. Maybe he deserved it. Never know.
He might have deserved it, but I get it. You got to have some more depth at defensive end. You hate to use a real early pick there, but round 3, a guy like Darrell Taylor, who he's got that upside, he's got that potential. He ain't going to see the field anyway with Adenabo ahead of him and Danielle Hunter ahead of him. Put him in his rotation, get his feet wet this year, and then see if he can hit that potential.
Yeah, I think he can come in as a rookie and have a handful of sacks, but you're right. He'd be a rotational guy and see what happens with him.
Yep. All right. Next one I'm going to go with is a wide receiver, a position the Vikings should be taking multiple times in this draft. And it's the wide receiver from Notre Dame. It's Chase Claypool. This guy's like, I didn't write this down, but I think he's like 6'6". He ran, I think it was a low 4.40 at the combine. This guy's just a physical freak. You put him on the outside, jump balls, red zone target. He could definitely have a role in year 1. He's actually a hell of a special teams player. He's a hell of a gunner for a guy his size. He can fly down the field. He's physical. I love Chase Claypool. I think he'd be a great option for the Vikings in round 3.
Dare I say that he is one of your draft crushes?
He's kind of like a late riser.
Really?
Late riser. I wasn't a huge fan early, but I am now. How about you?
No, I like Claypool. Since you just mentioned a guy from Notre Dame, I'm going to stick to that theme. I'm going Troy Pride, cornerback, good athlete, good ball skills. He's been playing for the Golden Domer since he was a freshman. Ton of experience. He's quick. He was on the Notre Dame sprint team. He can move. Very, very smart. Good footwork. I think he has like the base that you would love to see a rookie corner have. He might not come in and push for a starting job right away, but I think he could. I think he'd be playing that third or fourth corner.
Yeah, I like him quite a bit. To me, he's maybe something you look more at with the 108th pick, wherever it was we had. But before that, I have another corner on my list. It's Cam Dancer, who I do think will fall to the round 3 because of his 40 time he had at the combine, 4.64.
Gross. That was so gross.
Yeah, but did you see his pro day? He improved that number to 4.38.
That doesn't sound right. That sounds like a broken stopwatch.
That sounds like you're having your pro day out in your yard and grandma's timing you, because that is there's some home cooking there.
Yeah.
But despite his slow time, he's got size. He's 6'2". He's like 190 pounds. SEC player. The guy is pretty smart. He gets his body in good positions. He can knock away some passes. But that that's overall speed does worry you. But again, I think he can make up for that with some of his smarts and his awareness. So I think for round 3, any guy you take is going to have some issues. And if it's just speed with this guy, that's something you can live with.
Yeah, he's going to be a very interesting one to watch. I mean, he was even getting first round buzz, and all of a sudden he runs a 4.68, whatever it was. That was disgusting. There was offensive linemen that were pushing for him. But yeah, I mean, third round, absolutely, he's a thumper too. I would love that guy.
Yep.
I'm going offensive line now. I'm going with the big boy. I'm going John Simpson, guard from Clemson, 6'4", 330. Started 29 games for Clemson. I mean, this guy just moves people. He's everything you look up on this guy. I don't think there's a draft profile out there that doesn't mention the word bulldozer. He just demolishes opposing defenders. He does not appear to be a very nice person, which I love. And I think he would come in, absolutely push for a starting job.
Yeah, I mean, that guard position should be open competition at both slots next year, and I hope it is. I hope they don't just give it to Elfline and Samia, like kind of what they've been doing lately in Meg Zimmer's regime. It doesn't seem there's a lot of competition for some of these open positions. I also have a guard center. I love interior lineman from Wisconsin more than anything. Tyler, I don't know if I'm pronouncing Biadasz. I think he plays center in Wisconsin. Tough, versatile. You can put this guy at guard, center, mean, physical player. I just love the way Wisconsin Badger linemen turn out in the NFL. They're just thick, strong, mean guys, physical players who are not afraid to push a guy in run block or hold their own pass protection. This guy's weird because you see him. I've seen him early in the mocks in round 1. Now you see him kind of round 4, 3. I would take him in round 3. Wouldn't skip a beat if he's available. I'd definitely jump over this guy. Just a huge pedigree for guys from Wisconsin panning out in the NFL, and I would love if Vikings got their hands on Tyler Badass, as I call him.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. We need that real angry, mean son of a bitch on the offensive line. That's what I like about Simpson. Pat Elfline seems like he might be just a little too nice. Drew Samia, that's what I'm hoping we got out of that. But yes, if we don't get a guard with one of our first 5 picks, I'll be very, very sad. I'm going back to the secondary. I'm going to Meek Robertson, cornerback from Louisiana Tech. Little guy. It took me quite a while to warm up to him. He's 5'8", he's 190, but he's damn good. Led the FBS in passes defended and interceptions over the past 3 years. Complete ball hawk, can hold his own, and for being a little guy, he can actually lay a punch. But 14 picks in the last 3 years. And the Vikings have shown interest in him, so they have talked to him. So he's a guy definitely to keep an eye on.
Yeah, he reminds me of my dog that just passed away, Gibby, who was a little guy, but he would be willing to fight any dog 5 times bigger than him. That's what Meek Robertson is. He has no fear. He's 5'8", but he will match up with anybody. He's got some swagger to him. He's got balls. He's a playmaker, and if the Vikings, if they don't take him because he's 5'8", I think that's a huge mistake. He's one of these players that you look back on after a draft and you say, hey, we passed on him because he's 5'8". We should have took this guy. You kick yourselves after because you passed on him for one thing. He's a playmaker. This guy makes things happen. He will make plays that win games in the NFL. He just has it. He has it, and that's something that you can't really measure at times.
Are you still talking about Meek Robertson?
Yeah, I am.
I'm trying to turn off this iPad that's going absolutely crazy.
Well, I saw you busy, so I was trying to keep going.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
I think you said it, though. Someone that's taking you a while to warm up to, and I'm the same way. When I saw his size, his measurements, I'm like, it's not a Meg Zimmer corner. The more I watch this guy, the more he excites me, and I think the Vikings would be fools to pass on him if he's there in round 3, which I think he will be. Because I think with his size, you do got to look at this guy in round 3.
Yeah, I think he'll be there in round 3. He's projected anywhere from mid-round 3 all the way to round 5, but he's a very hot name. Teams just need to get over his size. 5'8" is pretty damn dinky, but as Vikings fans, we've seen a small corner named Antoine Winfield come and rip shit up. So the guy has a nose for the ball, which I love. That's what we need. When's the last time we had a corner that just gets a shit ton of interceptions? Never.
I remember. It's like what Yoda said, size matters not.
God, he said that?
Well, he did.
Who else you got?
I got a safety, small schooler from Lenore Ryan. We talked about him in our mock that we did, Kyle Duggar. 6'1". He just got thick frame, big old shoulders. He looks kind of weird out there on the field. Kind of looks like a linebacker playing safety. This guy can return punts. Obviously, there's questions about his, the level of competition he faced in college, which is fair. But he went to the Senior Bowl. He was actually one of the better players down there, so I don't think it's going to be a problem. You probably with the Vikings, if they did take this guy, you got Anthony Harris, you got Harrison Smith. You don't have to force him on the field early. Let him be that punt returner. Get him in there here and there. Just get him used to the NFL, speed of the game. And that's been the biggest issue with this guy, getting used to the speed of the NFL. It's a huge jump from D2 school. So I think once he's ready to go, maybe you have the heir apparent to Anthony Harris on your roster if you do let him go next year.
Yeah, I love this guy. He's you said it. He's big, but he's surprisingly fast and smooth. He looks like a big old beefy linebacker out there, but the fact that he can even return punts is insane. So yes, it'll be a tough transition to the NFL from D2, even though he ripped it up at Senior Bowl. But yes, he would be huge value in round 3.
Oh yeah, you got anybody else?
I got one final, and this is more just tugging at the heartstrings, but I'm going Jalen Hurts, quarterback, Oklahoma. He is a guy that it's going to be very curious to see where he goes. He just wins. We saw it at Alabama. We saw it at Oklahoma. Gives everything possible to get a win. He definitely needs work on his accuracy. He gets a little reckless out there with the ball, but his ceiling is very high, and he needs to go to a spot where he can just sit on the bench for a year or two and not just get thrown in to be a starter as a rookie, because it could be a disaster. And the Vikings kind of have that perfect scenario where Cousins is signed for a couple more years. Hurts could sit on the bench, learn from him. But it's more about where this guy ends up going, because if Hurts is still on the board, especially for that 105 pick, the Vikings have to at least consider it.
Oh, God, I hope they consider him. They jump all over him. I think he's going to go in round 2. I think he's going to go a lot earlier than people think. He kind of surprised some people with his football IQ at the Combine. I think he interviewed very, very well. He's one of those guys that teammates gravitate to. They get behind. He's a leader. So he's got all the intangibles. He's got the heart. I think this guy will be – I expect him to be long gone before round 3. But, man, if he's there, I hope the Vikings jump all over him. I actually do have someone else on my list. It's not a quarterback.
Hold on. You know what the best part about Jalen Hurts is? When you watch his interviews, when you watch him out on the field, he absolutely does not think his shit stinks. What I love, he is very confident.
I guess it doesn't stink.
No, I bet it does, but it's horrible.
I bet you I got a guy whose shit probably reeks. It's Jake Fromm, cornerback from Georgia. I mean, if he's sitting there, was it 108 we have? What did you say, 108? That second, third round pick.
105.
If you've addressed a lot of your needs, I think this guy, I don't know if he's ever going to be a star in the NFL, but I think he's going to be a solid starter. And definitely a top tier backup. He's just so smart. He understands the game. He's got a high football IQ. He doesn't really force the ball into bad positions. He's not going to wow you physically. He doesn't have great size. He doesn't have a rocket arm. But he's so smart. I think he can step in. He can, I think he would push Sean Mannion to be our quarterback as a rookie, or a backup quarterback as a rookie. And again, he's not going to be like a guy, he's going to put a team on his shoulders, but he's not going to make a lot of mistakes. You get this guy as your quarterback with a good defense. I think he can win a lot of football games in the future.
And let's be clear, I think I could push Sean Mannion to be the backup quarterback right now. And I think as much as you say Jalen Hurts won't be there in round 3, I think Jake Fromm will be there a lot longer than people expect. I think that's a name that's going to fall. I could see him even going all the way to round 4 or 5. Just because his ceiling, you nailed it. I mean, he's more looked at as a career backup with possibly coming in to start. But yeah, I was much higher on Jake Fromm earlier in the season, and I'm just kind of weaning off a little bit. We'll see. I wouldn't be upset, but I wouldn't have high expectations for him.
Low ceiling, high floor.
All right, before we wrap up this third round, let's talk about one guy that you're hoping in some sort of pipe dream that might slip to round 3 that you don't want the Vikings to snap up.
Yeah, the guy I have, and I think it's just because he's been inconsistent. He hasn't really been good for a couple of years, but it's defensive tackle from Alabama, Raekwon Davis. I think there's some motivation issues with this guy because he'll tend to like fade out during games, and he was really hot. I think it was a year or two ago, but hasn't done much since then. So either he can't get through double teams, but this guy's got everything you want to be that disruptive force on the interior of the Vikings defensive line that they need. I wouldn't be surprised if he fell to the third round just because of how inconsistent he's been and the question marks that surround this guy. But I think he's someone who's still got a lot of upside as a rookie. And if the Vikings took him, I think he would get a handful of snaps every single game, probably rotating with Armand Watts as that three technique defensive tackle. And I think, man, I just round three with this guy, that to me, it would be huge score. I'll be all for it. And I think, it's a pipe dream, but I don't think it's that much of a pipe dream.
Yeah, it's not that much of a pipe dream. I mean, you're right. This guy just needs some little fire up his ass, because when he's out there and he plays hard, he is a man amongst boys out there. And defensive tackles, you see him slip every year, and he could definitely be one. I'm going offensive tackle, Ezra Cleveland. He's a guy that's kind of all over the place. It seems like he's pretty much a second-round guy right now, but he is a little bit of a project. He might not be ready day one, and that could cause him to fall a little bit. And I would love to see the Vikings take him round three. It'd be a good.
Yeah, he doesn't have that physicality some of the other tackles do, and I think that's what maybe would cause him to drop. But, yeah, you said it. This guy, I just saw mock with us take him at 25, and if that happened, I would.
Oh, God, are you serious?
Yeah, that'd be horrible.
That'd be worst case scenario. The TV would be off, and by off, I mean thrown out in my yard.
Sounds like a draft nightmares. You wake up wet and confused.
Yeah, that's horrible. 25, Jesus.
All right, well, we're getting to crunch time here. It seems like, the draft is really just sneaking up on us this year. I feel like it should still be about 3 weeks away, but it's really what you said, 11 days?
11 days, and we're going to be bringing you continuous draft coverage on this channel. So tune in, subscribe, like the video now.
Yeah, I think we'll have to see what we can do to run up that old scoundrel, the Minnesota Lupagus, in a couple of weeks.
Oh, we'll find him.
Not a couple of weeks, a couple
we'll
days
find
at
him.
this point. Yeah. All right, so here's a little fact for you guys to chew on while you're eating that Easter dinner. Turns out elephants can actually use their penises to grab things. Male elephant.